Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about breaking key rules and why it was absolutely integral to creating the Air Jordan 1 and why it was absolutely critical to creating the creating Dungeons & Dragons itself, right? So one of the things that I get pretty wound up about is this idea that, and I get a lot of this. Just look at the comments; you'll see it said every 1 or 2 or 3 days, and they'll say, "Scott, I agree with what you're saying about tabletop role-playing games being fundamentally life-changing, but not just D&D; it's anything, right?" And the reality is, this is 100% wrong. So I just finished watching Air, and this was created by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, and it is incredible film. It is the story of the creation of the Air Jordan 1. And so I keep telling you, hey, Dungeons & Dragons is not a regular product. It is a life-transforming catalyst that completely reshapes the way humans, because of the work Gary Gygax did, in my humble opinion, it completely transforms the way humans interact with identity, narrative, and language. And it fundamentally, and our existence, Dungeon Master's existence in the world, just make the world better, right? And get this. So everything I say about Dungeons & Dragons, it's already fully accepted by the sneaker community about Air Jordan 1s, about the Air Jordan product, right? So the sneakerhead community is everything I'm trying to get you to do, the sneakerhead community has already done. Just go to any sneakerhead documentary and they're like, oh, 100% Air Jordan changed the world, right? Like, the world hasn't been the same since Air Jordan. And they're right. It has fundamentally changed the world. The biggest thing it did, right, was it took, before Air Jordan, right, an athlete could make hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, maybe low millions of dollars, right, before Air Jordan. Once Air Jordan hit, it was like, okay, a regular run for a successful athlete can be tens of millions, hundreds of millions, and for a handful, literally can be counted on a single hand, billions, right? And the moment that happened, and you had these, athletes, they can go back to their community, they can reshape they can do philanthropy at a level that nobody's ever seen before. And there's thousands of them. It completely changed the world, right? And so what I'm saying to you is, hey, open your eyes, look what's happening here. We have this situation where we really can, so Dungeons & Dragons can when I say it can change the world, this isn't me just making stuff up. We already see this with one product. And what I'm saying is, if Sonny Vaccaro changed the world with one shoe, can you, for the love of goodness, just, look what's happening and realize, if this guy, changed the world with one shoe, what can we do with something as powerful as Dungeons & Dragons? It could be 100 times more powerful than anything. It's a basketball shoe, right? And yet it did change the world. We have an abstract IRL social experiment modeling system, right? You think, if you think, look at the benefit that has come out of just one shoe. Imagine what we could do when the Dungeons & Dragons community does what the sneakerhead community did. So let's get to the primary point of this, right? This video. In order to get there, Sonny Vaccaro, I already shot this video once. This is my second attempt at it. Or actually, the one video I had, it talked about everything all in a mishmash, but I was very vexed, and so I had to shelve it. And so so you're getting the best video I ever did, cut up into 4 different parts where I'm just a lot more level. All right, so and so basically, when he created this, right, this is the key part that you need to understand. Listen to this carefully, right? He didn't break every rule. That's what I said in my first video. He broke key rules, right? Sonny Vaccaro, in order to create the first thing he did was, you would have the families come to the corporation, right? Sonny Vaccaro went directly to Michael Jordan's mother and father, skipped Michael Jordan altogether, and started talking. Literally went to their kitchen table, right? and got into a lot of trouble from Phil Knight. Was like, what are you doing? You don't have the authorization to do everything that you're doing. You're making promises to them. You're talking to them before you have sign off from me, right? Like, we were supposed to work on this together. And Sonny Vaccaro was very clear. Like, he's like, no problem, just fire me, right? Like, you're the boss. I'm the person, but I'm going to do what's needed to get this done, right? And you have one choice. You don't sign off on anything for me. You get on board or you fire me, period, right? And Phil Knight was drug to the Air Jordan 1, right? Like, he was not excited about it. Only Sonny Vaccaro really saw what Michael Jordan was, which was the best athlete who ever lived or ever will live. That's what was special about Sonny Vaccaro. He knew Michael Jordan was worth betting everything on. Converse didn't know this. Adidas, a German soccer company, they certainly didn't know it, right? They didn't even know what American basketball was, right? They didn't even have any right to be, in my opinion, they had no right to even be bidding for Michael Jordan's shoe. It was ridiculous, right? And so he broke this rule about contact, right? And then he made the shoe and he wanted it to be red and black, right? And the guy who created the shoe told Sonny, hey, I can't make this shoe more red. They will, like, I've made it 49% red. If I draw one more line of red on this shoe, we will break the rule, and he will be fined $5,000 a game for even wearing these on the court. And you know what Sonny Vaccaro said? He said, make it red. More. He broke the key rule, right? And he's like, we will break the rule and then we will pay the consequences. And they literally paid the fine of $5,000 per game so that he could wear the Air Jordan 1 on the surface and completely transform basketball shoes for everyone forever, right? But they had to break this key rule. And then last, Michael Jordan's mom came up and said, hey, we're not going to get our sign off. You're going to give us a piece of revenue. You're going to give us revenue sharing. Every shoe you ever sell with Michael Jordan's name on it, he gets a cut. You don't give us $250,000 a year and then go off and make millions and billions. We get a cut. And Sonny Vaccaro's like, that's not how the industry works. Nobody has ever gotten this before. And then he's like, you know what? I want this deal so bad, I'm going to break the rule. And he brought it to Phil Knight, and he's like, get the board on board. We're going to break it. And we're going to get pushback from the industry, but we're going to break this rule. 3 rules broken. Look at Gary Gygax. They're like, Gary, like, so basically, Gary Gygax played around this table, right, with war gamers. And I'm convinced at one point, one guy made a joke and was like, one of the units in my one of the guys in this token that represents a 5-man unit, he ate a turkey sandwich today, and it was a joke, right? And first all, Gary broke the rule of wargaming and was like, I don't care about units. I don't care about force manipulation. I don't care about positioning. I want to know what sandwich that guy ate for lunch, right? And he broke the rule of the unit and of the war framing. And he's like, I want to know every single thing about this one soldier, right? And that one breaking of the rule was the first, right? Then he's like, okay, I'm going to make my own thing, a tabletop role-playing experience, right? And then he's like, and they're like, okay, and people sat down with him and they're like, what are you building here, Gary? And he's like, get this, no win or lose. They're like, what do you mean, a game that you don't win or lose? That I'm breaking the key rule. There's no win or lose in this game, right? And they're like, well, how do you know when the game is done? Well, because there's no win or lose, you literally play until every player character dies, right? Like, and you know what? Maybe it doesn't end even then. Like, maybe you continue to play on with the ghosts of your player character. There's no win or lose. There's no ending. Rule number 2, broken. Then he's ready to bring it to market, right? And he's like, oh my gosh, I have this incredible, in my humble opinion, this is what he said to himself. I have this incredible self-improvement engine, this thing that will fix all of society, over the decades and centuries to come, and bring real secular help to secular people, right? Who need it, who desperately need it. But if I just, if I craft this thing and deliver a self-help engine, if I bring a human flourishment engine, everybody will reject it. So I'll break the rule and I'll call it a game, right? I'll let everybody think they're having fun. And half the people will have fun, and then half the other people will see what I did, or someone at some point will see what I did and start using it not as a game to cut goblins in half, but a tool to cut their own deficiencies in half, right? And so he broke those 3 rules, and that's my entire point is Air Jordan is a world-changing product. Dungeons & Dragons is a world-changing product, and they are both world-changing products because one man, excuse me, said, I will break the key rules, the 3 key rules that have to be broken, right? And that's what Gary did. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. I want you to understand the ramifications of this. And also, in your life, where are you? Excuse me. Where are you breaking the key rules? Do you even know the key rules to break, right? It's powerful, right? It's a powerful thing. I want you to really begin to think, what is Dungeons & Dragons? You have to answer that question for yourself. You have to be like Sonny Vaccaro and see the truth of it, right? I'm trying to get you there. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.